and better opportunities, join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just a job, but an experience, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
Here's your 1010XL local sports update, sponsored by Chad and Sandy Real Estate. Florida baseball rallied after an early scare. The Gators defeated FAMU to continue their winning streak, overcoming a shaky start from Luke McNeely at Condren Ballpark. Cade River Run participants should expect limited parking from stadium construction and closed lots. Arrive 60 to 90 minutes early and plan up to a mile walk from remote areas. That's your 1010XL local sports update. I'm Sam Nelson.
Right now, 74 degrees at 9:59. Time and Temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
When it comes to our edge, right? We're constantly trying to find our edge, right? And as we go into year two, year one, extremely important, right, guys, for setting the tone and establishing the way that we want to operate, the way that we want to play, and going through that. I think we did that.
He slipped and he fell down. Trevor fell down on the play. Now he's going to try and run it in. He's in the end zone. Touchdown. Trevor ran it in. He ran it in. Touchdown.
There's no guaranteed success, but I do feel like this is sustainable. The things that we're doing, I know offensively and defensively, I mean, just both sides of the ball had a hell of a year when it got down to the end where we finished and the growth that we had.
There is no year more important than year two. There's no year. Because, man, let's be honest, there's been a lot of one-hit wonders. That's the reality.
Running room for Parker Washington, 45, 40, 30, along the right sideline. Parker Washington, he's going to bring it back. Parker Washington, touchdown Jacksonville. There are no flags.
They just go hop on the bandwagon right now. Everybody in this locker room on the Jaguars team, even upstairs, we know everybody probably going to try to hop on this bandwagon now, but we don't want anybody. They can stay where they at. It's us. It's all about the Jags.
Knocked down. Devon Hamilton knocked it down. It's still good. The Jaguars win it. The Jaguars win it. That ball is going to be knocked away. The Jags win it in overtime with another terrific defensive play. All these cardiac cats.
Everybody but us. Excuse my language, mama, dad, grandmama, but everybody but us.
What are we doing to separate ourselves so that we take the next step as a team?
Now, after that sack, Josh has set the franchise career record for sacks. Congratulations to Josh Hines Allen.
I can't really sit up here and say that, what our season's going to look like next year, but I can say that we got a team full of guys that's committed to each other. Obviously, this team's going to be a little different. You heard what Coach just said. It's a business at the end of the day. Some people are going to be here, some people are not. But the guys that step on this field, leading to OTAs, to training camp, to the first game of the season, to the last, those are guys we're going to ride with, and those opportunities we're going to try to develop and win.
We're trading up in the draft. We're moving from pick 5 to pick 2, and we're doing it because you're the one we've been hunting up. Yes, sir. That's the best decision.
That ball's caught by Travis Hunter. He's into the end zone. Touchdown.
To be able to put it all together this spring, I think it'll be fun.
Fires middle of the field. That was caught. 35, 30, 25, 20. Brian Thomas Jr. He hung on to that one. Fires middle of the field. That ball is going to be caught for the touchdown. Jacoby Myers. Along the left sideline. 50, 45, 30, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown! Touchdown! Touchdown!
We're going to bring you a product that you all can be proud of. And we are so appreciative of your support. With that, game on.
Now, Jaguars Today on 1010XL with Mike Dempsey, Fat Tony, and RJ Saunders.
All right, welcome in, everybody, and the hits keep coming. We got Demetrius Harvey of the Florida Times-Union sitting in with us today after John Shipley pulled that duty off yesterday from Jaguar Report. And good morning, Demetrius. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing all right. How are you guys doing?
Good to see you.
Oh, good, man. Good to see you guys, too. It's been probably, almost a year.
It's been a while since you've been in.
Yeah, since I've been in.
And not for lack of invitation, by the way. No. It doesn't always work out. Demetrius has a job sometimes. Takes him to the Miller Electric Center, the stadium. He covers the team, and, the 10 to noon is not always doable, but we're glad we finally worked it out with you again.
No, I appreciate it. I've always wanted to come in, and I've always been trying to come in, and everything kind of just doesn't work out. Like
Tony's like, nah, not today. Tony's always shutting it down. But now we're glad you're here today. We got a lot of issues to dig into. Tony, good morning to you.
Good morning.
We were just talking about it before we came on. Jags put out a clip of Trevor Lawrence yesterday for all 22 perspective. I don't even know what it was titled. He was just throwing darts all over the field, right? Some of his best throws of the year from the all 22 film perspective. And Tone, I don't want to be one of those guys that's like, our guy's the best thing that ever did anything. But man, I find it hard to believe that like on the true 10 out of 10 physical high level degree of difficulty ball placement, and the ball has zero arc in the throw. I don't know what as many guys would have as impressive a top 10 or 15 throws as Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun if someone would put together like a highlight reel of that with Josh Allen, because we know his arm is ludicrous.
It is.
Right? Like we know like there are guys in the league that have that kind of thing. Mahomes has a great arm, but it's wacky.
Yeah.
Like the thing with Mahomes is he does things that you're like, why did he even try to throw it over the five guys, right? Like he does things how did he see it to anticipate that kind of thing even having a chance to happen, and the throwing with the wrong hand and backwards and all that kind of stuff. Like he's a magician doing it. Trevor, his arm is so insane that every now and then when he lets one go, you were talking about it in the booth, you're watching and going, that's terrible. And then it morphs through a person.
Yeah.
And you're like, how'd that ball get there? I don't know. I don't even know if he knows, but it worked.
Yeah, no, it's actually really crazy. When you watch him, and this is why everybody's always so, I think, positive, optimistic about Trevor Lawrence heading into a season, because if you watch him during training camp, he makes those throws. Like, it's not like every single time on training camp, you're sitting there wondering, does he have it? Is he able to do this? Is he, yes, he's going to throw an interception or two. Yes, he's going to have a poor practice. But you can see the vision, for lack of a better phrase, when you watch him in practice, even during the season, that they do these little, sort of challenges. I'm sure you guys have seen it where they try to throw it right into the center of like a tiny net, maybe 20, 30 yards away. More often than not, Trevor's making it in there, and not every quarterback is. And so it's incredible to watch him. I think that he showed obviously this year how talented he can be. And so we'll see what happens moving forward.
Yeah, I wanted to start with that today, Demetrius, because we're focused so much this offseason, as we usually are, about the change that's coming, right? And the change, it's not going to come from the coaching staff. It's not going to come from the front office, but there's going to be a lot of personnel changes on the final 53-man roster. But one of the changes will be the fact that Trevor Lawrence gets to start the year with a year under his belt of Liam Cohen's system and not go through the little rough patch, the sticking on his chest, the let it rip, the whole 9 yards. I'm not saying they'll never be at odds or have a moment or anything like that, but you feel like, man, is there a chance for him to hit the ground running the way he played in the second half of the season? Because if that happens, that's going to lift up and make up for a lot of other deficiencies on this football team.
Yeah, no, and I think that's what they're hoping, that's what they're shooting for, is that last year, obviously, he comes in, he's coming off of surgery, so he's not even throwing for a while, right? He's not even really doing much of actual football work. He's just learning, and it takes time. He had to change his footwork, had to change some of the mechanics. It takes a lot of time for some of those things to take in. This year, he's no injuries. He had the tiny ankle thing that I think that they just had to put on the injury report that week. But other than that, he's been clean. This is the first year that he's been really healthy to exit the season. And so he's going to have a full healthy offseason, full healthy training camp. And they're going to be able to open up the playbook that much more, I think.
Yeah, somebody on the text line is on my lifetime enclosures. Matthew Stafford's old now, and he probably had more unbelievable passes than Trevor by far last year. Stafford also won league MVP, right? And that's fine. I'm just saying when you look at it, and he did have some, Trevor doesn't throw the no looks, right? Which are great. And Stafford, look, there are a lot of great quarterbacks, but I'm just talking about the pure physical ability, the arm strength, the ability to do it while on the move too. There are guys like Rodgers will still dot you up from the pocket, right? At 41 years old, but he's not going to do it as much getting outside the pocket. Trevor's will be running herky-jerky, hectic back there. All of a sudden stop and fire off a 40-yard laser, and it's like they don't always work, but when they do, Tony, it's a thing of beauty.
I think it's honest to talk about Trevor Lawrence in this regard and say that there are few quarterbacks in the league that can benefit more from the coach just saying, let it rip, right, than Trevor Lawrence. Like, don't be nervous about the outcome here. Try it, right? To have the confidence from the coaching staff to say, if you think you can, just do it, and we'll deal with the consequences of it. We believe that your arm is good enough that if you think you can, maybe you can. We'll find out. And if you don't, then, put that one in stock it away. Don't try that again. That kind of, but I don't think there's a whole lot of quarterbacks in the league even that have the arm talent to have a coach just say, go, let it, don't put the brakes on for yourself. We don't want to put the brakes on. Just hit the gas.
Yeah, no. And it was so different from what Trevor, I think, was used to under Doug Peterson, especially later on in that tenure, because, Trevor comes in and he's throwing the most interceptions. He has 60 turnovers, the most besides Josh Allen. Everybody's talking about the turnovers. A lot of that, especially in 2023, and I think you guys saw that, and then obviously some of 2024, was he was just trying to protect the ball, making sure I'm not going to fumble, I'm not going to throw an interception. And you kind of saw the results. It just wasn't explosive. It wasn't a high-scoring offense. And then even before Liam Cohen sort of told him to let it rip, it was just sort of the same. It wasn't as high-scoring, wasn't really super, exciting, I guess, for lack of a better word. It just was okay. And now once he's able to let it rip, gets that confidence back, then you see what he can actually do.
All right, Demetrius Harvey, Florida Times-Union, Jaguars beat reporter in studio with us for the full show today. So take advantage of that and pick Demetrius's brain on any manner of Jaguar offseason storylines, from free agency to the draft to roster management, getting under the salary cap, which they have not yet done, and got 6 days to do it. We're not saying they won't. Of course they will. Everyone does, but still got to get it done. So a lot of things to pick over as this offseason unfolds here with Demetrius Harvey this morning. RJ, good morning to you. How are things?
Good, guys. What's the haps?
I don't know, man. You tell us.
Well, I heard two disgruntled Knicks fans inside the studio today.
Sorry we don't have any more time to talk to you this morning, RJ, but that was a dynamite drop-in, and we appreciate your contribution. Yes, there are some disgruntled Knicks fans around the building, all two of us this morning. All right, RJ has got the controls today. If you want to get in, 641-1010 on the Key Buick GMC phone lines or the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, or you can hit us up on the socials at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, at Demetrius82, and at R has no J.
Oh, if you don't like that, you don't like NBA basketball.
All right, and I don't know what that's referring to, so I can't tell you whether or not I like NBA basketball, but you can also stream the program today on YouTube, on Facebook, and on the X platform. We'll get your calls in. We got plenty to discuss with Demetrius Harvey as a free agency, roster management deadline to get compliant with the salary cap, all that coming up 6 days from now. The franchise tag deadline is come and gone, and what are the futures of all the Jaguar free agents? That and more coming your way for the next 2 hours on Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL.
Okay, stop. This is a family movie.
Sports talk and entertainment for Jacksonville. This is 1010XL.
At Hollis Pools, building a pool is personal. We sit down with you, listen to your vision, and bring your backyard dreams to life right here in Northeast Florida. Working with us doesn't feel like working with a contractor. It feels like working with family. Every Hollis Pools project supports Project Savior Outdoors, helping bring hope to our veterans. Visit hollispools.com. Hollis Pools, your vision, your pool, your escape. License number CPC 1461233.
Jaguars Today, Thursday, is brought to you by
Cannons of Jacksonville.
Has any Major League Baseball player ever hit 2 grand slams in the same inning?
Filing an insurance claim following a storm shouldn't be an ordeal. Southern Oak Insurance's claim team prepares for catastrophic situations well in advance. Log on to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Fernando Tatis of the Cardinals hit 2 grand slams in the same inning in 1999. Both came off the same pitcher, Chan Ho Park of the Dodgers.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
To catch more fish, you gotta think like a fish. Captain Kevin and the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show, reeled in by the Pest Pros at Royal Pest Services, and awaken 180 weight loss.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
If you never saw Zeppelin live, now you can know what it's like. And if you did, relive the magic of Led Zeppelin live. Get the Let Out is back at Florida Theater March 8th. Get the Let Out. Find out what it felt like to see Zeppelin live. Get tickets now at floridatheater.com.
Firehouse Subs is adding a new heavy hitter to the roster, the Chicken and Cheddar Rancher. Grilled chicken, melted cheddar, crispy bacon stacked high with fresh toppings, creamy buttermilk ranch. The Chicken and Cheddar Rancher, only at Firehouse Subs.
Here's a little secret to why I've been married for over 25 years. Kuhn Flowers. High Flying Jacko here. Yeah, that's correct. When I need to send some love to my bride, I don't wait for an anniversary or her birthday. I just simply go to kuhnflowers.com.
I'm Clayton Bromberg, the president of Underwoods, and I'm proud to say that Underwoods is the longest-standing member of the American Gem Society in the state of Florida. That's important because the American Gem Society promotes professionalism inside the business, and most important because of how it protects the customer. Gemstones are like most things, and you have to have the knowledge about them before you can tell the truth about them. That's where the American Gem Society fits in. They're the organization that certifies gemologists and registered jewelers and certifies sales associates with professional titles. Then, to ensure that we stay up to date with these gemological advances, we re-win our titles by passing a written test every year. And now I'm proud to say Underwoods has the largest credentialed American Gem Society staff east of the Mississippi River. So if you're interested in diamonds and jewelry and want real professional help, stop by Underwoods.
Underwood Jewelers in San Marco, in Avondale, and at the shops of Ponte Vedra.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Demetrius, didn't ask you for your walk-up music today. If you have anything in particular, RJ will handle your business for you.
I have nothing in particular. If you want to just surprise me, that's completely fine.
Okay. That's what he does with us generally every day as well. So you'll fit right in around these parts. Surprise, surprise. Yes, to those, I was doing crosstalk with Hick, and we were saying to E, he didn't know what a 45 record probably was, right? He probably never used one. Yeah. And I mentioned my parents had the 72s. They're actually the 78s is what, and I appreciate a couple of people on the text line corrected me, but there were those always, we had this walk-in closet when I was a kid that had like this mystery area, like behind the clothes. It was like a storage area. It was like this kind of the angled roof. It was beneath the staircase. And it was like this, like, you know, my parents had probably only lived in the house for like a few years before I was born, but it seemed like they might have been there for a century. I don't know, you know, and I would go in there and I'd flip through and I'd find like, what are these weird sized albums that are not fully grown, yet they're not 45s? I don't know. And they were 78s as it turned out. I don't know if I've ever played any music on a 78. Just an old people thought right there. So there you have it. Thank you
I play
for
on
the
my
correction.
vinyl at the house, and I do have a record player. It's 45s.
All your vinyl is 45s?
Yeah.
Okay. You didn't know 33.
No 33s.
The LPs.
Yeah.
The long playing albums. All right. Let's see. Interesting. I'll fire this one off at you. I haven't heard this asked, and we'll get to these phone calls that are stacking up for Demetrius Harvey, so they want to pick your brain this morning. Somebody on the text line said, would it be wise to keep Devin Lloyd and let Foye walk? And would that make any sense financially? He said Lloyd would take a deal to stay, I believe. We'll see about that. Within, a reasonable margin, he's not giving up $5 million a year because he loves his experience here in Jacksonville, I wouldn't think.
No. You have to understand, too, this is the first time for Devin Lloyd, and for most of the players who end up being high-cost free agents, this is the first time they can actually have a negotiated contract, really set the foundation for their family. So to me, I always try to stay away from will he take a home discount kind of talks, because first of all, when's the last time you saw a player take a hometown discount, a real hometown discount? It's few and far between. That doesn't really happen. Maybe it used to happen in the past, but it doesn't now. And it's understandable. But in terms of moving on from Foye, keeping
no
Devin,
great financial benefit, by the way. If you'd save $3 million to move on from Foye and then have to replace him.
Right. So, I mean, to me, it's just a non-starter. You have to be dedicated, obviously, to bringing Devin back, and then you would keep Foye as a result. You don't need to move on from him. Like you said, it wouldn't save enough money to matter. But to me, I think it's just kind of that point where Devin's going to find a suitor, and I just can't see it being the Jaguars, considering their cap and where they are really in their rebuild.
Last year, to my recollection, all right, on Monday of free agency week, we heard about Jordan Lewis near immediately.
Yes.
Right? We heard about Eric Murray in pretty quick fashion. I think Hunter Long might have been in that first day. Hey, either way, they had a decent number of players that they had agreed to terms with that you could point to and say, likely starter, right? Now, maybe not in Hunter Long's case, and I don't remember the exact timing on him, but it was pretty quick. They knew who they wanted to target, and it was obvious some of those defensive backs were high on their wish list. Understanding the financial situation they're in terms of the tightness of the cap space, do you anticipate hearing anything about them agreeing to terms with anybody on that Monday? I'm not trying to be facetious here. Like, are they going to wait till the market settles down a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be, I don't think it's going to be like last year. Last year they're trying to fill holes, and they knew that they had a long way to go with the roster, including Patrick McCary was brought in, I think, first day.
He was quick, yeah.
So they knew that they had to fill some holes right away. This year, because of their cap situation, they're going to have to restructure some guys. They might have to cut a guy or two. I do think that they're going to be more tepid on the free agency market. They're not going to be in there, trying to go into like a bidding war just for the sake of it. So yeah, no, I don't think that Monday is going to come. I wouldn't set your alarm for 12 p.m. and wait,
Right.
for the inevitable
God,
Adam
I'd love
Schefter
to set my
test.
alarm for 12 p.m.
Listen, I mean, if you're that into NFL free agency, I'm sure there's a lot of people who might take that day off.
No, I'm just into sleep. That's all I'm into. All right, 641-1010. Demetrius Harvey of the Florida Times Union, Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, RJ Saunders here with you. Let's start with John on the west side there on line 2. RJ, thank you very much. John, good morning. How are you?
Hey, good morning. Yeah, the 78 thing, my sister
Yes.
had a collection of those, and me and my cousin used them as Frisbees, and let's just say it didn't work out well for me after I destroyed that whole
Understood.
But a two-part question, and I don't claim to be a capologist at any, and this might even be a dumb question, and Michael might mock me after I'm done.
I might.
But anyways, what caused us to be so far behind the 8 ball, and would Max Crosby be something that we would possibly be interested in? I'll take your comments off the air.
All right, John. Thank you. Appreciate that. No mockery, at least today.
Yeah.
I'm more polite with guests. No, and all right, cap situation.
Yeah.
You want to give your 30-second nutshell answer on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of they had contracts that were, deemed not good enough, and they ended up cutting players, and, you rack up dead money, and then you kind of are sitting here now where you've paid a few guys. You paid Trevor Lawrence, you paid Josh Hines-Allen, you paid Eric Armstead, you paid Foye, you've paid all these players, and so, yeah, the salary cap is not in an ideal position, but they have ways to get out of it pretty easily. You can, if you want to release Eric Armstead with the June 1st cut, I think that it would be about $10 million saved. If you want to restructure guys, you can save money there. Walker Little's a guy who I think, you could restructure. So, they have ways to get out of this. It's not a untenable situation.
Yeah, look, and when you do restructure deals in past years, like Foye's done a restructure, right? You push money into the future. And so, whereas, okay, we lowered his cap hit from 12 to 4 million this year. That's great. That 8 million is going to turn up at some point. And you reach a point where sometimes you got to bite the bullet and tighten your belt for an off season and go, if we can get through this and stay competitive next year, we're going to have an opportunity to be more aggressive, acquiring players, what have you. That doesn't mean you can't get better, obviously. Second part of that question was what? What was it?
Crosby.
Max Crosby. Is he realistic?
I don't think so. I mean, they don't have a first-round pick. I mean, if you're the Raiders, you're not taking anything less than at least one first-round pick for Max Crosby. Otherwise, you might as well just hold him hostage, and there's no problem with doing that. They're not in a win now necessarily mode, I don't think. And so, to me, if you're the Jaguars, you have Trayvon Walker, you have Josh Hines-Allen. I mean, it's not really realistic. I've seen a couple people float this. It's not realistic to move Trayvon Walker inside full time. I don't see it.
I agree.
I can't see them wanting to do that too, because Trayvon is incredible as an edge player with his length and everything like that on the outside. He can stop the run probably better than anybody on the team. I do think that as a pass rusher, he's developed, and if he wouldn't have broke his hand or broke his wrist, whatever it was, I think he would have had a great season. So to me, I don't think that they're going to go after a guy like Max Crosby. I know he's a good player, great player, but look at the tread he has on the tires. Look at the cost it would be. It just doesn't make sense.
So because we've had a few questions about Trayvon, I'm trying to just put them all together here. What is the outcome? Does he play on the fifth-year option? Does he get an extension done this season to provide a little cap relief? And to me, it's hard. Like, if I'm Trayvon, I don't want to be signing a contract coming off a 3.5 sack season, so they want to keep him, but how we have no idea. But I mean, I would imagine right now the Jaguars' first offer and Trayvon's number in his head are not the same.
It can't be, right?
Yeah, right.
I just, and that's not a knock against Trayvon. It's just a matter of that's the business. If you don't have that stellar season, if Josh Hines-Allen did not have the 17.5 sack season, is he signing for $27 million per year or however much it is?
Probably not.
Probably not. And so, $3.5 million or 3.5 sacks for Trayvon. I think that everybody knows he's way better than a 3.5 sack guy in terms of impact on the quarterback. So to me, if I'm Trayvon, I might not want to sign a deal either. I might want to play on the fifth year. It's risky. Is it smart? I guess you can ask someone else. I don't know.
We hear this all the time, right?
Sure.
And you're not wrong. But truly, how many guys in that position who choose to play it out really have an injury that craters their earning power, right? I'm sure it's happened on occasion, right? But I would bet you that way more guys have benefited from going out there playing, putting up the better numbers, and taking advantage of that.
Yeah, no, I feel like more often than not, you're right. Players will go into that final year and all of a sudden they have the best season of their lives. Josh did it. I could see Trayvon. Devin Lloyd did it. I mean, we see this all the time, even for Jaguars. And so I do think that is something to where it does make sense for him to sort of just play out the fifth year options, fully guaranteed for injury. And so you might as well just sort of let it play out, get an extension later.
From a bigger picture view of that, say Trayvon does hit the number on the nose that he did in those back-to-back years, 10 sacks again, right? Like right at that number in 2026. So he's a double-digit sack guy right at the number 3 out of 4 years. He's doing that on the 5th-year option, right? What contract do you offer a guy? Like, are you willing to give him something approaching top-of-the-market money? What is a fair offer to Trayvon Walker? Or at that point, do the Jaguars just bite the bullet on a franchise tag or something like that? Would that be the better direction to go?
The franchise tag, I mean, it'll probably be, what is it this year for defensive ends? Like 25, 30?
I think next year 27? It's projected 32, something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Because now you got a couple of guys in the mid-40s.
Right. So, I mean, I don't know. That's a tough one. To me, you can't doing like a $32 million cap hit on one player, and it's a defensive end who, you don't, if you're at that point where you don't know if you want to extend them for, 30 plus million per year, then I don't see why you would do the franchise tag at 32.
Unless you just wanted to try to maybe flip him, which teams do, which you're not supposed to. I'm using the air quotes, supposed to tag with the purpose of trading, right?
That's the stated purpose in Dallas, essentially, right? With Pickens, right? Like that was the word before they put the tag on Pickens. Like, we'll tag him and trade him.
Did Dallas say that?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I know
that's
Dallas
the word that was out there. Yeah,
because I think Jerry wants him. I think they want to keep George Pickens.
It would make sense.
Anyway, let's not get too far afield on George Pickens this morning. Let's go to Mac on the north side before we hit the break. Mac, you're on with Demetrius Harvey of the Florida Times-Union. Go ahead.
Hey, hello, Demetrius. You're pretty informative. Mike, I knew this was going to happen. I wanted to send them a clown AFC South games. I want to send both AFC South games to London. They had already sent the Washington game. It's already sealed and delivered. They're probably going to send another non-AFC South game. And I don't like that because we played AFC South twice. Let the fans in Jacksonville see some different teams, man. You understand what I'm saying?
I do, Mac. Appreciate the call. Look, this is going to be the coaching staff's decision. According to the Jags, they're going to lean on Liam Cohen. Which games you want to protect, you can protect too. And from yours, you're looking at a fan's point of view, right? Where I'm going to go to the stadium, and this is the team I want to see come in and play my team. The team is looking at it as we're going to please you, the fan, the most by winning the most games as possible. And therefore, if we feel it's advantageous to make the Texans play in Jacksonville as opposed to London, that's going to be best for our hopes to win the division. So, I mean, to me, I'm all about, I think the football side should have 100% of the decision on any of that kind of stuff, Demetrius, because to me, and again, I'm not a guy who has to pay for his ticket, so Mac's entitled to feel the way he feels about it, but I'm more about let's try to put these teams visiting in uncomfortable positions. If you think that's better here in Jacksonville or London, whatever the case, I will lean on Liam Cohen for that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I would also lean on the coaching staff. Obviously, with NFL franchises, they are businesses as well. So they're not going to. So you have to think about it like this. Next year, the Jags are going to have, I think, 45,000 around that in terms of the 42, capacity. Yeah. 42 maybe. Okay, yeah, 42.5. Whatever the number is, they're not going to have a full capacity. Do you want to take? I'll just throw out random. I don't know if they even play them. The Steelers game. Would you want to take that, put it in the 42,000 stadium, or would you want to take it overseas and put it in the 90,000 Wembley
You could also
stadium?
argue, though, that the 90,000 Wembley Stadium is going to sell out regardless of who you put in there.
Right. No, you could. But my point is that, if you have the 42,000, you're probably going to end up selling out that regardless. So, to me, do you move that one instead of the Titans? That's the only thing that I'm thinking of. And in terms of the fan perspective, I understand, but there's also fans that would say never move a division game, to
I understand
London.
that too.
So,
look, man, here's how I would choose to look at it. This is me. You don't have to. Is that there was a discussion for a while about 2 seasons not being played in Jacksonville.
Yes.
All right, starting this year. So if you want to look at it from that perspective, you're getting 6 more games than you ever anticipated, or at one point could have anticipated having. That's the bright side of it. I'm sure the Jags would like you to choose that side, and you, again, can make up your own mind on that. 641-1010. I like the questions. Keep them coming for Demetrius Harvey of the Florida Times-Union. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios.
Create a backyard your family will love. Jack's Outdoor Solutions, an authorized dealer of Celebrity Greens, installs PGA quality artificial turf golf greens and complete outdoor spaces. From turf to custom hardscapes, landscaping, and lighting, every project is built for style, durability, and family fun. Locally owned and trusted across Northeast Florida, customers rave about their results. Check their 5-star reviews on Google. Plan your dream backyard today at jacksoutdoorsolutions.com.
You're locked into Jaguars Today Thursday with Cannons of Jacksonville. Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
Homeowners, ready to open your home to spring and shut out high energy bills? It's 31 days of spring savings with Renewal by Anderson. Right now, buy 2 windows or doors and get the third 60% off. Plus, 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months. But this offer expires March 31st. Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613. Hi, it's Tara Lagaman. Jeff and I love local Fair Jacks for fresh eggs, quality meat, produce. It's all from local farmers. There's no scary recalls, just food you can feel good about feeding your family. Learn more at localfairjacks.com.
The Players' Championship returns to TPC Sawgrass March 10th through 15th. Experience golf's most iconic stage with enhanced food and beverage offerings, interactive fan attractions, and an atmosphere built for every type of fan. See the best players in the world, including world number 1 Scotty Scheffler, 2025 champion Rory McIlroy, and fan favorite Brooks Koepka take on the legendary Stadium Course and the famous Island Green. Tickets available at theplayers.com.
Royal Pest Services, a local company you can trust. Royal Pest is a certified installer of tap insulation, which stands for thermal, acoustic, and pest control. Reduce that electric bill by adding pest protection. It's that easy. Online at royalpestservices.com.
Attention Northeast Florida golfers. Save hundreds on golf at premier local courses and support youth development. The First Tee of North Florida Tour Card is your key to big savings and making a difference. For just $99, you'll unlock discounted golf and offers at top courses and local businesses all year long. Plus, every tour card purchase helps fund programs that build character, confidence, and life skills for kids in our community. Grab your tour card today at tourcard.org.
Northeast Florida's highest-rated residential home electrical contractor is American Electrical, providing unsurpassed quality in Duval, St. Johns, Clay, and Nassau counties. No matter your electrical problem or project, large or small, American Electrical will get it done at a price that's right. High-quality electrician, that's who they are. Trusted company that's been on the First Coast for decades, proudly serving the community while being a big part of the community. Call American Electrical for all your electric needs at 737-7770. Wired right at a fair price.
Bueller.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal.
Stand back, Jason. I'm gonna
Sneeze? Yeah, I saw that coming.
It's all this spring pollen, Jason. It's outside and it's inside my house, and I just can't stop. I can't stop.
Sneezing? Okay, let me help you with that.
How can you help?
At Bueller Air and Plumbing, we can improve your indoor air quality with air purifiers, UV lights, and filtration systems. Every new system we install includes high-efficiency 4-inch filters that work better and last longer, even if you forget to change them.
Wow, that's amazing. It's amazing.
Life can get pretty dusty sometimes. If you spend all day, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
This is before your time, Demetrius Harvey. I think a little bit. Yeah, this is right in my groove right here. Kidding me? This is like junior high days, RJ. Thank you very much. All right, Demetrius, Devin Lloyd, gone, right?
Yeah, I would assume so.
Okay, Travis Etienne, gone, right? Door open, cracked?
I would crack it open.
Crack it. But it's going to more rely on what his market is. You think it's more like that, right?
Yeah, it's I think, who is it? Javonte Williams just got paid. You can kind of look at that and say, okay.
I got to go. I think PFT posted a look inside the numbers on that, and I didn't look deeper into it yet because it's never what it is claimed to be when it first comes out.
I do think he, you could correct me if I'm wrong. I do think he ended up getting, basically, it was a 4-year deal, but it ends up being like 3, in terms of the guaranteed portions.
Right, I heard 3 for 24 initially, and I don't know. I'm going to have to find that because I did see they posted something like inside the numbers, and I didn't. All right, so possible that ETN.
I would say possible. Why not? Yeah.
Okay, but not likely. You mean? You tell me. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
It depends on his market. Obviously, it depends. If I think the Denver Broncos are a team that really want a running back. It seems like they always do. And I can see them paying him. Obviously there's a couple other guys, Kenneth Walker's on the market. There's a few players who are going to get some money, and I could see Travis being either the top guy or just below that. And I don't think running backs are getting paid some exorbitant amount. So, who knows?
Yeah. All right. So we'll leave it open. What about Monteric?
That one. So that one is another depends. I'm sorry. But I will say, I do think that he's more likely to come back than Travis. Just because I think that you could probably get him back for, I would say you should be able to get him back a little bit below 10 per season. And if that's the case, then, you go ahead and you sign him up right away. But again, these guys are looking for the most money that they can get because it's their first and maybe even only big contract they're going to sign.
That's right.
So
yeah, you can't blame them, right? No. And all that. We would all do the same thing. Why are you not loyal to Lockheed Martin or whatever? Because the other guy's paying me more is what it is to a large degree, especially when you haven't had those massive paydays at this point. What about Gardeck?
I think that he's a guy that they definitely want to bring back. I would bring him back. I could see him being back. It's almost like it's a step above, obviously, the Quentin Morris kind of bring back. I think that you can sign him to a longer term deal, maybe 2 to 3 years instead of the 1 year. But yeah, I would say he's back. It's so tough because you don't really know the market for some of these fringer guys who, maybe they do have some team that loves them.
His could be all over the place.
Right.
Like from what you read, and who knows what source to believe on what, how much people covet Monteric Buster Brown or not. But if you are a zone defense team, I think, I could absolutely see him getting paid some starters money. I just don't know. Do the Jags, I guess it all depends on the way you structure it. Can they give out any $10 million a year contract this year?
I think so. I mean, you can end up doing, signing bonus of X, Y, and Z, and then you get the cap hit down to like $2 million this year, or even $4 million.
I'm looking at Javonte's right here. He had what was being called 3 years, 24. There's a $6 million signing bonus and a $1.75 million base salary this year. So it's 3.75. And then he's got roster bonuses, but I don't know if those factor in now or later, in terms of the cap space you have to have available. So it may be possible that they have him for less than a $4 million cap hit. Let me see what the cap number. Yeah, $3.891 million. So which you could probably figure out a way to do that if you could structure it similarly if Travis Etienne doesn't have a more robust market than that.
Yes, that's exactly right. I mean, and I think that we saw that too with Jordan Lewis's contract last year. I don't know this cap hit. I'm pretty sure it wasn't $10 million.
I'm sure it wasn't.
Right. So, it's the same situation that they can easily end up giving Travis maybe, what did Javonte Williams end up getting in terms of signing bonus?
6.
So, I mean, yeah, you could go even higher than that, go to 8 or something.
According to Over the Cap, Jordan Lewis's cap number last year was 5.8.
Right.
Okay. This year, 12.7.
Yep.
So,
and that's exactly how it would work with a guy like Travis. But, if you're smart, and I think the Jaguars are, they're going to structure them in a way where next year they're going to end up having to, maybe they'll restructure Trevor, push more of his money down the line. They're going to have a guy like Josh that's going to be able to be restructured. So I do think that they're going to have a maneuverability, and I don't think that Travis Etienne is a guy necessarily that's going to take up a lot of cap space, regardless of of how much he signs for, unless he gets a Christian McCaffrey deal, which
I don't anticipate.
Yeah, right.
We saw that Jonathan Jones of CBS speculated that the Jags could be a good fit for Kenneth Walker. I'm like, I would think Kenneth Walker's getting more money on the open market right now than Travis Etienne. He's younger, had the great playoff run. Like, why would you let a guy that you know fits great into what you do, into your ecosystem, the whole 9 yards, and go out and pay more for a guy at the same position? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
No, it's a strange situation because, to me, Kenneth Walker too, he doesn't catch the ball very much. I mean, I know he's done it, but like this guy, it's not as if he's been setting the league on fire. He's an inconsistent player as well. But obviously, you see the extreme highs that he can have, and it has been higher than a guy like Travis Etienne. He breaks tackles like no other. Very physical runner. I don't see why you would go and say, "Oh, we love Travis, but now we're going to go out and pay even more for a running back," in Kenneth Walker. It would be illogical to me. And
me too.
Yeah. I sometimes feel bad for all the guys who have the pressure of having to do something, put it out there like that every day.
Oh, yeah.
Like on all these things. I know NFL.com, I was reading, they had something up about the 5 possible landing spots for Kenneth Walker specifically. They had the Raiders as one of the, they just drafted Genty. Right? Like, what are we talking about here? That they would be willing to spend that? I know they have money to burn on the cap, but what? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me, but they're like, they have money, so it could be, it's like, all right.
But we live in the world now where it doesn't matter if people agree or disagree as long as they click.
Yeah.
They click because they're mad is just as good as clicking because they're happy about it. In fact, those are the people you're probably going to hear from more anyway, so the more people you can anger with your opinion.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that aspect of it does not appeal to me at all. I've never been a clickbait radio shock jock. Like any opinion I had, even if you think it's nuts, it's my real opinion.
Right.
So there's plenty of things that we can discuss without needing to make up, hooey. Now we do hypothetical stuff like what would you do in this scenario and stuff like that. But anyway, let's take a time out here so we don't get behind. We'll come back, get back to the phone lines if you want to get in at 641-1010. We'll welcome those calls on the Key Buick GMC phone lines. Got them coming in on the text line and on social media as well. For Demetrius Harvey, Jags, by the way, officially announced this morning that the contract with Quentin Morris, although we knew about that a couple of days ago. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
For the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios at 1010XL, where speed is the spectacle.
You'll bypass him on the back straightaway.
This Sunday at Phoenix.
We got a lot of speed.
Powered by the Plumbers and Pipefitters Local Union 234. From the station with the most horsepower, 1010XL.
Transmission troubles? I'm Robin Sidbury, owner of Action Transmission Specialist on Merrill Road. So come in and see how we can help solve your transmission troubles. We service all makes and models. Remember, get traction. Call Action at 744-0755.
Jaguars Today Thursday is hitched to Cannons of Jacksonville for all your towing needs.
Hey, it's Travis from Cannons of Jacks. Thank you for trusting us for 55 years of custom welding fabrication and vehicle towing accessories. When you need a trailer hitch for the family car, a gooseneck for the company truck, or even RV towing options, call us at Cannons. We can do a bumper hitch, fifth wheel hitch, anything for safe, reliable towing. Come to Cannons of Jacks, where service is our #1 priority and we treat our customers as we like to be treated. Check us out online, cannonsofjacks.com.
If you miss an interview, it'll be waiting for you on demand.
Well, what are we waiting for?
Search where you find podcasts. And at 1010XL.com. Trained by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck.
Discover downtown Jacksonville's newest go-to spot. Pour Tap Room Jacksonville brings you 2 floors of over 80 self-pour craft beers, wines and cocktails, plus live sports, live music, and private event space. And right next door, Pizza Dynamo fires up made-to-order pizzas, slices and calzones, packed with bold flavor. Pair a pint with a fresh pie at Pizza Dynamo and Pour Tap Room, downtown at Laura and Forsyth.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about not looking at the rearview mirror of unforgiveness. It's so easy to keep looking in the past when someone has hurt or offended us. What we don't realize that if we keep looking at the rearview mirror of anger, it will cause us to miss out on the good things that God has in store right in front of us. Friends, looking in the rearview mirror of the past will never give you peace in the present.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
Next time you head into a Gate convenience store, look for Form Energy Drink, designed to provide energy, hydration, and focus, straight from Dana White and AB, celebrating those who embrace grit, discipline, and resilience in their everyday lives. Check out Form Energy at a Gate convenience store.
Hey gang, Prosser here. Have you been thinking about selling your home and you haven't pulled the trigger? Let me tell you about Chad and Sandy and the experts that will help you make that decision. Mortgage rates have dropped. They're expected to move lower. Home sales momentum is building, so now's the time to get your home ready to maximize your sales price. It's time to call Chad and Sandy, the proven experts to sell your home. Need to sell now, need to sell fast, need max price. Check, check, check. Chad and Sandy have the science behind it. Using their proprietary Market Max system, Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Jonathan writes from Mount Pleasant. The only thing standing between me and my dream of hitting the road in my RV was selling my Mount Pleasant home. After hearing Chad and Sandy on the radio, I gave them a call. The results were unreal. In just 3 days, I had multiple offers at full asking price. So can you. Call the local experts I trust and recommend. Call Chad and Sandy, 414-6200, or chadandsandy.com.
The Golf Club of Southampton is gearing up for brand new greens and a lot more, and now's your chance to save on membership before the fee increase. Take advantage of $1,000 savings if you join before the work starts in late April and before the initiation fee goes up. It's a great deal, plus $500 additionally in Pro Shop credit. Don't miss out. All the details are at golfsouthampton.com. Become a member now and save big. The course is in great shape, so head on out to the Golf Club of Southampton. Call 287-PLAY and get on the tee.
If you're ready to transform your yard with a fence that stands out, elevate your curb appeal with Superior Fence and Rail. Superior takes pride in offering first-class service, friendly installers, and unmatched fence products. Mention this ad and get $250 off your next project. It's time to get off the fence and call today.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Jaguars today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, coming to the close of hour number one, Demetrius Harvey of the Florida Times-Union talking Jaguar football with you. Free agency dawning next week, getting under the salary cap. Will the Jags retain any of their guys? Will they go out there and fill some other holes with the other teams' players? Somebody made the point about, hey, what would you pay Trayvon? Let's imagine if Trayvon played for Houston and is now available. Would you sign him and what would you pay him? They said, I would. I'm assuming that means you would sign him. Well, sure, if you tell me what the pay is. Right. Would I sign him? Yes. $45 million. No. $20 million. Yes. I mean, so tell me what it's going to cost to pay. And there's a difference, too, as we talked about on the break. Taking a guy from Houston has a double benefit, right? If you, like, I pay Will Anderson more coming to take him away from Houston than I would to take him away from the Arizona Cardinals, for instance. You know, so, but I would not pay Trayvon Walker top of the market, no matter where he was, to come here. You know, we look at it and we go, wait, you just paid a guy with 3.5 sacks. What? We love him because he's our guy here in Jacksonville. But if you said, if somebody gave Trayvon Walker $30 million, there are going to be people screaming in their fan base. Now, in this situation, we don't know what he's going to do in 2026. Maybe he goes out and has a 15-sack season and the whole conversation's different. But coming off the exact same type of season, if you gave him $35 million, whatever the number is, that people are going to think you're absolutely crazy.
People would lose their mind, and I wouldn't blame them. I mean, you're paying a 3.5 sack guy. It would be like paying Jadeveon Clowney all those years ago, you know, right after he's coming off of his contracts. And so, to me, I just if that was the scenario, I think you very obviously would not pay Trayvon $30 million. You've never seen him in your defense, and in that scenario. You don't know how he fits. You don't know his locker room, anything like that. It's easier to sell that, I think, if he's on the Jaguars already. We've seen what he can do with this scheme. We've seen what he can do, in the locker room. Fantastic guy. You've met him. Everything is sort of, check, 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 check. And so you just wait.
He's in the ecosystem already.
Yeah, in the ecosystem.
Anyway, we'll move beyond Trayvon here. I just wanted to address that because we saw that one come in on the text line. Let's go to Cody next up here on the Key Buick GMC phone lines. Cody, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How you guys doing?
Good. What's up?
Oh, nothing much, guys. Hey, Demetrius, man, there's a lot of guys I like in this draft coming up, and I had two questions for you. Are there any edge guys in this draft that you like, going into the draft, and what do you expect from guys like Danny Strigow and BJ Green this upcoming season?
Yeah, that's a difficult question for me because, the NFL draft is large. It's vast. I don't necessarily keep up with it right away. I'm focused more on free agency. So I would say that in terms of the pass rushers this year, I have heard that this is like one of the best, if not the best position for this year. So if you're going to need a pass rusher and edge rusher, I think that it's a year to get it. I do know that Penn State defensive end looks really intriguing to me, but the more that I hear about him, the more it seems like he's going to go in the first round. So that's probably not an option. I also don't know if I'm spending the second round pick on an edge. It really depends on what they have planned for Trayvon Walker, what they think the defense can look like.
There was some talk, I think, coming out of the draft last year that Ashton Galati out of Louisville was a guy that they would have considered. Remember, it was R.J. Harvey. There was that. It would pick 60, which they had at the time, I think it was. And then when neither guy was available, that's when they took the offer from Detroit and they moved back. So if the right guy's there, my point being that, you had a draft where they didn't pick up any edge guys last year, right? And they went and signed Ogba the very next day on that Sunday. But they were willing to do it for the right guy. And that I'm with you. Like, is 56 the spot I want to spend on an edge? Right. If I've got my two starters at edge and I'm not going to move Trayvon inside full time. You mentioned Eric Armstead as a way to potentially save some money.
Yeah.
Boy, I look at it, I'm like, man, first, you can't use that money until after June 1st.
Right.
We already think defensive tackle is a pretty big need on this football team. You're creating a bigger need. He's the second leading sacker on the team. I think if Eric Armstead stays healthy, I'm just going to hope that he gives me a 7.5, 8 sack season this year, and then maybe punt after 2026.
Yeah, if they can, I think that would be obvious to restructure him again. I think they already restructured his contract last year. I don't know how that works in terms of being able to do it multiple years in a row or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I would tend to agree that you wouldn't want to move on necessarily from Trey or from Eric just because you don't have that depth there. They just signed Matt Dickerson back, who, great run for him. He's a guy who was on the practice squad in training camp, just kind of battled his way. It's like a ideal story for a NFL player making it. And he was rewarded now with probably a 1-year deal. So I do think that this is a situation where you're not going to want to bleed more of that position. So I would understand not sending off Eric, but it's strange because you're going to have to make some moves.
You're right about that, but that even then doesn't get you. Does that get you cap compliant? Like you could count the savings, but you can't use the money until after June 1st, or does the saving not even hit till June 1st?
That's actually a good question. I'm not going to pretend like I know. I think if I would guess, I would think that you could use that money because we've seen teams use the June 1st.
I think that you use that I don't know. You use the designation when you don't want to take all the money this year and you want to split it up over the next couple of years, whatever the dead cap hit is. I don't think they would. I think they would be, you can't utilize the benefit of it other than the overall longer-term management of the cap until June 1st rolls around. Again, we're in a situation where we probably are not going to be excising good football players right now, other than the ones who are free agents anyway, just because, then you're creating a hole that you got to go out there and fill again. So we shall see. Let's get next hour coming up. Let's get into the secondary. Let's get into the offensive line and anything you would like to get into with Demetrius Harvey. Tony Smith will take us around the NFL when we come back as well. Hour 2 coming up on Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars
Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. 1010XL takes you inside the program director's office with Dan and Jeff.
Hello, I'm the station manager.
Mornings
I'm responsible for the quality of work here at the station, so.
on 1010XL.
We came, we saw, we kicked it.
Hey, Jacksonville, David Garrard here. If you want a street legal golf cart that's built with quality and style, check out Dynamic Drives and Designs in Jacks Beach. They have new, used, and fully customized carts from the top brands like Atlas, Dodge, and Pilot Car. Every cart gets a complete expert inspection, so you know it's ready to hit the road. Their team can help you design the perfect custom cart that fits your style and needs. For your custom golf cart, visit dynamicdrivesdesign.com today and see your perfect ride.
Jaguars Today Thursday is towed by Cannons of Jacksonville.
At Hollis Pools, building a pool is personal. We sit down with you, listen to your vision, and bring your backyard dreams to life right here in Northeast Florida. Working with us doesn't feel like working with a contractor. It feels like working with family. Every Hollis Pools project supports Project Savior Outdoors, helping bring hope to our veterans. Visit hollispools.com. Hollis Pools, your vision, your pool, your escape. License number CPC 1461233.
Joe Coward, Matt Hayes, and Leon Searcy are serving up your daily dose of sports talk specials from scratch.
I didn't know you could.
XL Prime Time is driven by Duval Ford.
These are delicious.
Noon to 2 weekdays on 1010XL.
I'm Frank Franzi, and I just got back from the farm at Okefenokee in Folkestone. Man, was I impressed. You have to see these handcrafted cabins. But act fast. On this 1,000-acre farm, there will only be 250 cabins. Each phase has jumped in value, so come get your lot and lock in your equity. Enjoy living in harmony with nature, going to the grocery store in your own backyard, and connecting with people grounded in food and purpose. Learn more at okefarm.com. That's okefarm.com.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental. With light sedation for cleaning, then deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, located in Bartram Park.
New and pre-owned firearms are in stock at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach. Want a new sidearm or rifle? Brands like Kimber, Smith & Wesson, 6 Hour, Beretta. No lines, no hassle. Only at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
Ticket here for Action Garage Door. Nothing more frustrating than your garage door misfiring. When it does, I call Action Garage Door. They take action. Jeff and Art and crew, Jacksonville folks, not some big out-of-town chain. Something goes wrong with your garage door, take action. Check them out. Garage Door 911, garagedoor911.com.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Checkmate. I'm Brendan Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, Checkmate's mascot and brand ambassador.
Why do you even talk in these ads?
People see me on the trucks, Brendan, so they expect to hear from me as well.
But I have over a decade's experience personally installing high-quality polymer floors right here in Jacksonville.
Well, I'm a professional mascot, riding around on the side of your trucks, smiling at passers-by.
Then could you at least tell people about our 2-stage polymer application process? Give your garage the finishing touch with a gorgeous floor that's guaranteed to last?
A bit busy posing for selfies, I'm afraid.
Years of experience?
Check. Adorable mascot?
Check. The team you need to make your garage gorgeous? Checkmate.
Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate.
Visit checkmatecoatings.com. That's checkmatecoatings.com.
Here's your 1010XL local sports update, sponsored by Baker Glass. Florida State steals one on the road over Pitt. The Noles locked up their 5th straight ACC road win. The Seminoles take on the SMU Mustangs in their final regular season game this Saturday. Wrexham brings its U.S. tour to Florida for the first time, facing Leeds United in Tampa as the club chases a 4th straight promotion towards the Premier League. That's your 1010XL local sports update. I'm Sam Nelson.
Right now, 76 degrees at 11:02. Time and 10 brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Everything you need to know about the Jaguars today on 1010XL.
All right, more details come out in the last 24-ish hours on the Trent McDuffie trade. A couple-time All-Pro corner for the Chiefs they sent to the Rams, and more details forthcoming on that. We'll get to that as Tony Smith takes us around the National Football League.
Now, gems around the NFL. Brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
As was being talked about before we got done with the show yesterday, the Kansas City Chiefs are trading cornerback Trent McDuffie to the LA Rams for 1st, 5th, and 6th round picks this year and a 3rd round pick in 2027. The Rams are reported to have a new deal done with McDuffie, and that'll be announced when they are able to make the trade official. Dallas has restructured the contracts of quarterback Dak Prescott and left guard Tyler Smith, which will create around $47 million in cap space this year for the Cowboys. Green Bay has signed a 2-year, $4.85 million deal with running back Chris Brooks. New England will be releasing wide receiver Stephon Diggs when the new league year starts next week. And the teams have been announced for the 2026 Hall of Fame game on Thursday, October 6th in Canton, Ohio. Arizona will be playing Carolina to begin the NFL season, preseason, whatever you want to call it. The first NFL game of the 2026 calendar year will be the Hall of Fame game in Canton, Ohio.
All right, there you go. And so I saw somebody make a comparison. I was looking for it, and I can't come up with the exact tweet that had it. When the Chiefs traded to acquire Trent McDuffie, traded up to draft him as a rookie, they gave their first and a couple of other picks. They basically got very similar, if not better, return, or as Ian Rappaport would call it, 5th round value.
That was crazy.
And if you don't know, go Google that one. We talked about it the other day. Anyway, so that this is a pretty good win-win situation, right? If you were Kansas City, you're like, man, we gave up a bunch of assets. We basically got them all back and had the use of McDuffie for the entirety of a rookie contract. Now we're trading him away. They've got to now pay him on top of that, and we recoup very similar draft capital. Meanwhile, the Rams are like, bro, Stafford has won MVP, but he also is 37 years old. We're winning now, maybe the year after. It's definitely Rams are a push it all in, since getting Stafford at least, have been a push it all in kind of team.
Yeah, going back and looking, it was a 1st, 3rd, and 4th round pick that they gave up to move up
first,
to
a
get
3rd, and a 4th, all right.
McDuffie. And so they are getting back now a 1st, a 3rd next year, a 5th, and a 6th.
Man. Pretty comparable when you got the 4 years out of him.
Yeah.
And he made a couple of All-Pro teams as well. All right, speaking of the secondary, I'll take Trent McDuffie. Don't think we're going to get a player of his caliber here. I was noting a moment ago, Gilbert Manzano over at Sports Illustrated did a piece on one projected free agent every team should sign. Okay, and for Jacksonville, he went with safety Jalen Thompson, and he said it's clear the Jags weren't pleased with the secondary last year, trading Tyson Campbell in exchange for Greg Newsome, who could be on the move again as a pending free agent. Jacksonville's secondary could be better off next season with a healthy Travis Hunter and a free agent signing or two. And Thompson has been a reliable starting safety for the Cardinals for the past 5 years. I keep hearing this safety, right? And, okay, Dewey Wingert's a free agent. Yeah. And he started a lot of games, but was he a high-level player? And he had his moments. But you invested a pretty high pick in Caleb Ransall last year. We don't know. Antonio Johnson broke out Eric Murray, at least for this year, doesn't seem like he's given up his starting spot or going anywhere. Where would a vet safety fit into this mix?
Yeah, they just wouldn't. I mean, I couldn't see a scenario where they're not pushing for Cale Bransaw to be on the field. I mean, he was your second pick last year.
Right.
You clearly like him a lot. You converted him from cornerback or nickel to safety. You have a vision for him. You have a path. He just got hurt. And so now you're going into this year with, I know that Dewey Wingard started last year, but I mean, if Cale Bransaw was healthy, I would assume that it would have been him and Eric Murray and not Dewey. And so you're sitting there thinking, okay, I understand from a national perspective, you see Dewey Wingard, 17-game starter, whatever it was, is leaving. So obviously they have to fill that role. But yeah, like you said, Cale Bransaw's there. You have Antonio Johnson, who had a breakout season, who looked pretty good down the stretch. So why would you bring in a vet? I don't see where he would fit in.
I mean, not a vet that would be expected to start.
No,
I mean, depth piece, whatever. You got to fill out the secondary.
Yeah.
And that would seem like the kind of signing you would make, though, after the draft has come and gone. And you've seen if you could find a young guy who could be cheap and develop in that role. At least it would think. So Travis Hunter, full-time corner, part-time wide receiver. That seems to be the consensus, right? Based on what Gladstone and company said and all the tea leaves.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't think that there's any reason to like lock him into anything. You don't have to say, he's going to be a full-time star. He's going to play. It could be the case where he's playing full-time corner. Obviously, he's an exceptional corner, or can be. I think that you're going to want to use him in that role, given where you're at with the secondary. So that just makes sense logically, but on a game-by-game basis, you might see him in there for, 10 snaps on offense, or maybe it's 20 snaps on offense because they need him that bad, or maybe Parker Washington got hurt, so now, Travis is playing 30 snaps on offense. You don't know, but I do think that the full-time corner thing is what's going to happen. I think that you kind of have to, by virtue of where you're at with your roster. Yeah, and I think that was essentially the plan even last year. If you look at it, they didn't have Jacoby Myers, to start the year, so and you have Brian Thomas. He struggled a little bit, so you're hoping that, okay, Travis Hunter has to be the guy now. You go into that Rams game, he has 100 yards, a touchdown, and then you come out of it, you're expecting to have him. So to me, like their plan last year made sense too, where they wanted to play him at wide receiver a lot more than probably moving forward. But yeah, cornerback this year.
I just look at that draft class as a whole, man, and I love pushing picks into the future. I do, because you can, rule of thumb, and it's just a rule of thumb. It's not a hard and fast thing. But like if you're trading a pick into the future, you're getting an additional round. Like if I give you my third this year, you got to give me your second next year. That's kind of the starting point. And now it depends. The second rounder from a team like Seattle, who just won a Super Bowl, not going to be as valuable as some other teams. I get that. But when you look at it in that standpoint, if you look back at the Jags draft last year, had we gone into the draft and said, all right, guys, we're going to get a half season out of our first round pick. We won't have a second round pick. Our third rounders, one of them won't play it down. The other one's going to get banged up in training camp, and he'll play very sparingly, if at all. And you're going to improve by 9 wins. Right? I mean, there's no way that's possible under those circumstances. So now you look, man, and I'm not saying it was a bad move, and it's a tough break with Ransaw, but you sit there and you go, wow, we don't have this draft capital. We don't have premium draft capital. Imagine if you had taken that Ransaw pick, if somebody really wanted it and offered you their second this year. You would have been not behind at all, because you didn't get any contribution from him at all. And I would imagine they would trade him for a second round pick right now. You know what I mean? Like it's just a weird. I'm not saying that that's necessarily actionable, that you can go in with a plan to do that. But if those circumstances arise, you just never know what you're like. Man, Travis Hunter and Cale Bransaw and Wyatt Milam better have big years if we're going to show any kind of improvement. Well, that was the complete opposite for the most part.
Yeah, I think it's ideal if you're able to go into the season not necessarily relying on every single one of your draft picks. If you have to rely on all of your draft picks to be this top flight guy right away, then your roster is probably not in a good shape. So I think it's a credit to them, honestly, for being able to get the roster into a good enough shape, signing guys like Makari so that Wyatt Milam didn't have to play right away, or bringing in Hainsey so that Monheim didn't have to go ahead and play, even though he did play some this year and looked pretty solid. You get contributions out of 2 rookies in LaQuint Allen and Bashal Tune. And in Allen's case, he's a standout third down pass protector. So it's like, to me, the draft, the draft last year was very, in terms of the guys who did play, they did contribute a lot. I mean, even Rayon Lane on special teams became the special teams ace almost right away. So there's a mixed bag, but to your point, yeah, they could have just sent away the third round pick and nobody would have noticed this year.
Right. They honestly, they could have sent away both of them, and it wouldn't have at least impact. Now we would not have felt a certain way. And by the way, Wyatt Milan may go on to be a 10-year starter for this team, and Caleb Bransaw as well. I'm not saying they can't turn out to be good players. It's just it's interesting to me if you had put that scenario out there, that how little you were going to get from the top end of your draft last year, and the way it turned out, and the fact that they were hosting a playoff game as a division champ. Just kind of crazy. All right, Demetrius Harvey here with us. Let's get into the offensive line. When we come back, Walker Little's a piece that they could potentially utilize to get some cap savings, or maybe he's just a good depth piece on this football team. We'll get Demetrius's point of view on the starting five and the depth of the offensive line when we return on Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Superior products, exceptional service. He's nationally syndicated sports writer Matt Hayes.
And you might be...
And he's Jags beat writer Hayes Carline.
At least he got his name right.
Get more Hayes.
I gotta get me one of those.
Afternoons on 1010XL.
The Players' Championship returns to TPC Sawgrass March 10th through 15th. Experience golf's most iconic stage with enhanced food and beverage offerings, interactive fan attractions, and an atmosphere built for every type of fan. See the best players in the world, including world #1 Scotty Scheffler, 2025 champion Rory McIlroy, and fan favorite Brooks Koepka take on the legendary Stadium Course and the famous Island Green. Tickets available at theplayers.com.
Hey Jacksonville, it's Fred Taylor. If you've been in an auto accident, you need a team who knows how to get you back on your feet and back to your life. At North Florida Medical Center, they don't just treat the injury, they treat the whole person, from physical therapy to pain management. North Florida Medical Center has a team of experts ready to help you heal and recover. I trust the team here at North Florida Medical Center, and you can too. So don't wait. Call North Florida Medical Center and get the care you deserve.
Jaguars Today, Thursday.
Brought to you by Cannons of Jacksonville.
All right, Jacksonville, Florida summer doesn't ease in. It shows up angry. One day you're fine. The next day your AC is fighting for its life. If your unit barely survived last year, don't push your luck. Make the smart move now. Call Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. Honest pricing, no surprise markups. With the Beat the Heat early special, you can save $500 off a new AC system. Don't wait till it's 98 degrees and everyone's scrambling. Call for your free in-home estimate today. 904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com. When you're stuck, call the Duck.
Get geared up for your golf weekend with Dan, Jeff, and PGA Pros on Brunch with the Tour.
Expect anything different?
Tuesday morning at 8:30. Teed up by Clearwater Irrigation on Jacksonville's Golf Station. 1010XL.
The Brown Family YMCA in Ponte Vedra Beach is better than ever. Come experience our new renovated spaces, including an expanded wellness center with upgraded state-of-the-art equipment, recovery solutions, brand new locker rooms, and the Horsell Center for Health and Well-Being, all designed to help you feel your best. And now you can join with no joining fee. Plus, enjoy your 4th month free. There's no place like this place. And you'll love what's new. Visit the Brown Family YMCA in Ponte Vedra Beach.
Southwest Greens is the OG of artificial turf in North Florida. Stop mowing and start chipping or putting or just relaxing with a beautiful backyard, maintenance free. Log on to southwestgreensofjacksonville.com to see what they can do to your backyard.
Are high-interest credit cards and other loans sucking the life out of your finances? It's time to say no more. Let Loan Pronto tap the equity on your home and get the cash you need now so you can pay it all off. Hey, it's Prosser here. Corey and Jack called Loan Pronto in a matter of days. They had $160,000. They kept their 3% mortgage intact, didn't even need an appraisal, and with all that cash, they wiped out all their credit cards and 2 car loans, saving $2,000 a month. You can do it too. LoanPronto.com. Their rapid equity loan program can get you $100,000, $200,000, even $500,000 in cash. Chloe and Ethan just did it. Consolidated all their high-interest debt into one super low monthly payment, giving them an extra $1,000 a month. Imagine
Pay off all the credit cards, slash your monthly payments, breathe easier. Get your life back. Interest rates are at 3-year lows. Call Loan Pronto today, 904-999-1500. That's 904-999-1500, or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and you've got some really cool events coming up in your showroom on Atlantic near Regency.
We've got some exciting things. All new Euro motorcycle, fresh out of the box. I've never seen it. Some demo days. We got Sully here to give us the detail.
Yes, so March 12th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. we have a Euro demo day. Come out, test ride, and see if this is your next bike you're going to get.
Very exciting stuff. All new Euro. You're going to want to see this. Everybody loves sidecars.
Want more details? Check out Cycles of Jacksonville on Facebook and their Instagram page.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative. Now's the perfect time to order logo coffee mugs, or maybe a logoed Sick brand tumbler. They're seriously ice cold and look great with your company logo. HardballCreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars today on 1010XL.
Hope to see some of you tonight. Not all of you. That would be very crowded. But hope to see some of you at the J-Fun Wine Tasting Gala tonight, which is at ViStar Ballpark. I still just call it the baseball grounds, but you got the idea. And do come up and say hello. If you see me there, just understand my mouth is probably going to be full of like a shrimp cocktail or something. At least I hope
There you go.
that'll be the case. So give me time to chew before I reply to you. You've had some good personal news. I don't want to ruin your spot. Can we talk about it?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, it's exciting. Me and my wife Katie are expecting our first child, and we're super excited. It's a girl. We're gonna name her Elsie Hazel Harvey.
Nice.
So yeah, we're very excited. She's doing around late June, early July, somewhere
awesome,
around
brother.
there.
So
Yeah.
I didn't want to blow your spot
No,
up.
it's
That's
fine.
your, like, some people keep the personal life personal and all that stuff, but people like you and they want to be able to say congratulations.
No, I
didn't know if
appreciate
that
it.
was like widespread public knowledge or what.
No,
so.
it's not. But she's like 22 weeks now. I think it's a good time to say it. So
All right,
yeah,
well, good.
yeah.
Congratulations
Appreciate it.
and great health to all involved. Obviously,
Yeah, appreciate
that is and dude, take off as much time off work as you.
yeah.
None of it matters, but the family unit. I'm telling you, and it will fly by, as every parent who ever walked the earth knows. Will
sure.
tell you. I'm not the only one. All right. Anyway, congrats to Demetrius. All right, let's talk about this offensive line for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Start with Walker Little. Will he be on the Jaguars this year?
Yes.
He will. Okay.
Yep.
Just more thoughts on that, please.
Yeah, no, I mean it's you don't want to get rid of players that can add value, especially at offensive line. You saw last year, there were injuries all along the offensive line, guys had to keep coming in and out, and they were able to hold up, and that's a lot of that is because of the way that they were able to bring in depth players,
versatile players,
versatile depth players. Cole Van Lannon, you saw he played every single position, ends up as the starting left tackle, gets a big contract. Obviously he got hurt, but he's an example of what they want to see. And so to me, Walker Little, he's a guy that, they played him at guard, they played him at tackle. They think he can play both. So, why not go ahead and keep him?
Everything's a competition except when it's not, right? Like it's all competition. Trevor's not competing. Okay. Trevor's the start, right? So there are certain guys that reach a level they can have a bad training camp. And it's not going to matter. Okay. I'm not saying Cole Van Lannon's there, but when this regime haze him on a pretty small sample size, you're making a conviction type movement. He has to be your left tackle, doesn't he? I mean, this is not open competition between Cole Van Lannon and Walker Little, is it?
No. I couldn't imagine. And yeah, I just couldn't imagine
Cole
they would
have
go
to
into
fall flat on his face, which I wouldn't anticipate. Sorry.
But I will say he's coming off of injury. So, I mean, for a little while, maybe Walker Little has to be in there, and we'll see what happens in terms of his progress. And so that's another reason why I wouldn't do it. It's just a situation where you don't want an injury to come up, and then now who do you have as your sixth offensive lineman? Wyatt Milan's there, but, how much can you count on him right now? and they wanted to play him at guard. So there's a strange situation with Walker. I know his contract just looks weird as a 6th offensive lineman, but I think that's just kind of what you have to do.
All right, so let's say Cole Van Lannon left tackle, Anton right tackle. Okay, Ezra, is he? I mean, what is your confidence level that he's your opening day left guard?
Pretty confident. I think they loved him last year. I think he looked great at times, the best offensive lineman on the team. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't let him go into the final year of his contract. Now, depending on how they want to, make moves, maybe he is a candidate that we didn't expect. But to me, I think that you want to keep him as your starting left guard. I don't think that anybody upset him so far.
Like 27 years old, man.
Yeah.
And he still, I think, got a lot of football. I've seen people suggest, he could save a few million.
Yeah,
a few million, though. Then you got to find a guy that can play as well as him for the same amount or less to realize those savings,
It might be smarter just to extend him, honestly.
It might be.
It might be smart to give him a contract extension.
Hainsey, your starting center this year? Okay.
I think so, yeah. He had a great year last season with Trevor. I think that they like that unity, and so I think he's a starter.
All right, handicap the right guard battle, please.
Now that's a tough one. I mean, I don't...
McCary to get the first rep of offseason. He's probably earned that, right?
Yeah.
Walker a little in the mix?
I think so. I think you would have to have a competition between him and Walker. I mean, we kind
of
Milam. And Milam, yeah. You throw all 3 of those guys in, and you kind of say the best man wins. Obviously McCary unfortunately had all those injuries. The back, especially late in the season, the knee earlier in the season, and so he was up and down in terms of productivity, but I think that they brought him in for a reason. They like his versatility. They like how much he can do in the run game, and so we'll see what they do.
Yeah, I think his flexibility makes it interesting, right? Because everyone going into training camp last year thought that we had plenty of conversations where people said Milam could be their best offensive lineman by the time we get to the end of the year, right? And, we still had the opportunity when the season ended talking to Logs about these different kind of things, and he still thinks Milam is likely one of their best 5, right, on the offensive line. So if he wins that right guard spot, well, now you don't have to acquire anyone to be the swing tackle. It's McCary, right? Like, even if you moved off Little, like one of those guys can be your swing tackle at that point. Like, they both have enough flexibility that the offensive line has a lot of options in a lot of different places at this point.
Yeah, no, they really do. And even this is probably not something that would happen, but I could, if I were running everything or whatever, I would entertain the option of having Anton go to left tackle, Cole Van Lannon go to right tackle. I mean, why not? In terms of getting your best 5, the best pass protector, in my opinion, had been Anton Harrison. I think that he showed a lot too last year in terms of, extra effort, getting downhill. We saw all those blocks in the screen game. I think that he's a really versatile, good player. Obviously, his natural position before he was drafted was at left tackle. I could see a world where he's playing there.
It was interesting. John Shipley yesterday made the point that, and granted, different regime, different front office, but that when they came out, who was it? Was it Wanya Morris? Who was the left tackle that was playing with Anton? Or the right tackle, and he in the pros flipped to left, Anton flipped to right, and that he said during the lead up to that they at least the Jags, and I'm not trying to put words in his mouth, it was something along the lines of the Jags felt that ultimately that would be the result, that Anton would flip to the right side. I don't know. I mean, Anton's been here. Left tackle's an important position. There's never by any of these coaching staff been any kind of push to really get an extended look at him over there. So maybe they just think that this is where he's settled in. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I don't think that this coaching staff has ever settled in with anything.
Fair.
And especially with the offensive line. I mean, we saw it all last year in terms of, them shuffling during training camp, during the scrimmage. Anton was even playing some left tackle because of injuries or whatever, but they also like to see everybody play everything. Everyone was kind of up in arms, and I was questioning it a little bit, will they have a solidified 5 by, X, Y, and Z time? All of that is kind of, I guess it was overblown. And so to me, I think that they're going to go in, they're going to keep an open mind. I don't necessarily think that they need to pigeonhole themselves to having Anton only play right tackle. Like I said, I think that he's a really excellent pass blocker. I think that Cole Van Lanen's a good run blocker, a good pass. I think that he's done enough to show that he can start. But do you want to have a long time guy at left tackle? This is Anton's last year unless they get the 5th year option. And so it's just it's an interesting scenario where you could at least see what he has to offer there, rather than just going ahead and keeping him at right tackle.
Who was there was an offensive lineman yesterday. It was just coming out in the draft this year, and I'm sure his agent was putting out the list, and he's having a pro day, and they're scheduling meetings with various teams. Are going to sit down individually with him as pro day. And one of the items was Jaguars offensive line coaches will meet virtually with this guy. So, and again, you're doing due diligence, but it does seem, I think one of the guys they met with at the combine that got publicized was an offensive tackle. So at least, to me, they're leaving open that possibility that, hey, Walker Little, if he's attractive to somebody, we can save some cap space. Yes, it's good to have 3, but, last year, most people wouldn't have said Cole Van Lanen's going to ascend like he did, other than PFF, who loved him in the preseason the year before. You know what I'm saying? Like I could see them go in that direction, drafting an offensive lineman with one of those 3rd-round picks if you think he is potentially maybe your swing tackle from day one.
Yeah, I think that, if you look back at when James Gladstone came in, he talked about setting the dish, and that was the first thing he said about what they were looking to accomplish in terms of protecting the quarterback. And so I do think that it's probably the number one priority of every team, but in this team especially, and I don't know how much Tony Pacelli has an influence on this in terms of the offensive line, but they value that position group highly. I mean, that is a position group that's premium on this team at least. And so, yeah, I'm not surprised at all that they're doing their due diligence in terms of tackles or anything.
Jonah Monheim should be on this roster at the very least, you would think.
Yeah.
And Chuma Adoga is under contract for another year, and he's got a little versatility as well. Look, I think it could go either way. I think they could spend as high as a 3rd-round pick on an offensive lineman, or I think they could stand pat on offensive line. As we talked about yesterday, Tone, the only team in the NFL doesn't have an offensive lineman who's an unrestricted free agent. Like, they can bring the whole unit back. That doesn't mean you're not pushing to upgrade. And I'm not saying all these guys are locked in, but
that's more what the conversations at the combine say to me. It's like, we're not done working on it. If there's an opportunity to work on it,
if the opportunity presents itself to get better, but it's not a desperation
Yeah, there's no desperation. And look, we've already discussed the contract that they gave De'Ami Brown, right? And they were willing to move off of that despite they thought this might work. It didn't work. They moved off it. The McCary contract is getting Baltimore a 5th-round compensatory pick this year. Right, like it was a big contract that they signed him to last year, 3 years, $37.5 million. He's 1 year into that 3-year deal. How do you grade the move for McCary 1 year into it, knowing they have 2 years left? It's really they got 1 year. If they want to get out of it after this year, they can. But just looking at the impact they got from him this year, is it what you thought it would be, and what do you see his impact being even going into 26?
It really wasn't what I thought it would be, and a lot of that had to do with the injuries, but then also the penalties that he racked up, a few holding calls at poor times, especially earlier in the season. It felt like, a lot of the offense was a little bit not confused, but there were a couple of instances where operationally it felt like they had some work to do, and I think that you could see Patrick McCary as a guy who was struggling at times with that, and so to me I was a little bit disappointed in his production, but at the same time I do think that he's a guy that they brought in for a reason. He's a very versatile player. He looked good at times. It's not like he just was an awful football player, and so in terms of the contract, did they maybe go a little bit out on a limb? Of course, but they had to do it. They felt like they needed to bring in a guy that can come in and start right away, and he was probably the top guy on the market at that time.
There's plenty of worse spent money. There always is out there. All right, let's come back and talk about Brian Thomas. Expectations, his future in Jacksonville. Why does his name keep coming up as a speculative trade piece? Demetrius Harvey of the Florida Times-Union in studio here with us. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. There are 4 seasons, Winter, spring, summer, and Jags football.
To the 5, into the end zone, touchdown!
Jaguar football lives here. 1010XL, home of the Jaguars.
Make Capital Glass and Shower Doors your premier choice for top quality glass solutions. With over 40 years of expertise, their team specializes in commercial and residential projects. From elegant shower doors to modern frameless enclosures, they've got you covered. But that's not all. They also offer glass railing systems, glass wine cabinets, and much more. For unmatched quality and service, choose Capital Glass and Shower Doors. Your vision, their expertise. Visit online at capcoglass.com.
You're locked in to Jaguars Today Thursday with
Cannons of Jacksonville.
Whether you're undertaking a major home renovation or just a simple repair request, American Electrical is your 5-star Jacksonville-based electrician to get the work done right. Experienced design building department working seamlessly with their electrical contracting department to help you create beautiful lighting spaces and electrical plans that make your house flow. And remember, with American Electrical, it's wired right at a fair price. Call American Electric at 737-7770. Look for that red, white, and blue eagle on the side of their truck, and you'll know it's American Electrical.
Playoffs are here, and smart upgrades happen in the offseason. Your pool should be no different. If your pool is outdated, worn down, or just doesn't match your backyard, now is the time to upgrade. Purple Heart Pool specializes in pool renovations. Now is the best time, so you're ready when the heat hits. Veteran-owned and built on integrity, communication, and precision, Purple Heart Pools delivers remodels executed with discipline and attention to detail. Upgrade now, enjoy all summer. Purple Heart Pools.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Meet John and Ben Lupo, first and second generation owners of Jacksonville's Beards Diamonds.
We can do things that these corporate stores cannot do. Make decisions on the spot. Our pricing is better than anybody else's. We do not do commissions.
We really try to keep it a family environment, relaxed. We're not trying to sell you what we want. We're trying to listen to what you want.
In fact, don't be surprised if you end up spending less at Beards than you had budgeted, because they're going to teach you how to buy a diamond like a dealer buys and show you how to buy smart.
If we can save the consumer money, we're all about that. If we can achieve the same look, the same quality, and for them to spend less, that's what Beards is built on.
Why pay more if you don't have to?
Dad always taught me from day one is you got to look at the diamond. You can't just buy off the paperwork. Rather than us just saying, hey, this one's $7,000, the other one's $10,000, we're going to tell the consumer why this one's $7,000 and why this is $3,000 less, but almost looks identical.
Don't overpay at the Wall Street-owned corporate chain. Get the transparency and value you deserve at Beards at St. John's Town Center.
Hi, I'm Donovan Darius, 10-year NFL strong safety for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm hosting my celebratory 150 and 151st Football Life Camp this spring break for kids ages 6 through 13. The dates for these camps are March 16th and 18th at 5:30 to 8 p.m. These kids will learn speed, agility, football competition, life skills, and much more. If you'd like to sign your kids up or you'd like to support or volunteer, go to DariusNextLevelTraining.com.
The Florida Forum welcomes world-renowned chef and humanitarian Jose Andres at the Center for Performing Arts March 31st. His impact spans the globe as founder of World Central Kitchen, Presidential Medal of Freedom recipient, and global leader using food as a force for change. All proceeds for the Florida Forum benefit the Women's Board of Wilson Children's Hospital, supporting a new outdoor play area for behavioral health services. Get your tickets now at thefloridaforum.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
All right, golden moment, Demetrius Harvey's presence in the 1010XL studios. New studios for the first time today, picking his brain from the Florida Times-Union at Demetrius82 on the socials as you're following your Jacksonville Jaguar coverage through the eyes of the Florida Times-Union. Got a bunch of little interesting tidbits that are swirling around out there right now. The Houston Texans are bringing back Trent Brown, one of their starters, 1-year deal worth $7 million, 32. I don't know how well he graded out last year. That's been an interesting team to watch in the last week or so. They've jettisoned a couple of offensive linemen. And you can argue, like, well, they can't afford to give up linemen. Their run blocking was atrocious. Well, maybe that's why they're giving up those linemen, because they don't think they're that good. But Cleveland certainly valued, who was it, Titus Howard, and gave him $20 million a year. So somebody thinks that guy is a good player, and it's interesting. You like to watch to see what the division rivals are doing in the offseason, and it's hard to know exactly what the net gain or loss is going to be for Houston on these moves.
Yeah, I mean, they and Houston loved Titus Howard for a little while too. I mean, they kept talking about how he was a really versatile player, good player. He was their guy on the offensive line, and they've had so many struggles on the offensive line. I'm not really quite sure what they're doing. And then they trade for the running back, and then 5th round value.
That's, all right for that, because I'm the one who brought it up. And we already talked about it earlier in the week, but Rappaport threw out there for a 5th rounder because he was reporting off somebody else's reporting. Is what it was pretty clear. And then when it changed to a 4th, a player, and a 7th, he goes, or in other words, 5th round value.
No,
what? No, in other words, much more than 5th round value, but whatever. All right, let's talk Brian Thomas Jr. Much more of interest to the Jacksonville fan base here. What do you think the Jags' perspective is on Brian Thomas Jr.?
I think they like him. I think that they want him to continue to get better. I think that they want to continue to use him inside their offense as a deep threat player, and I think they saw that as the final, however many games when Jacoby Myers got there, that he was able to do that outside the number, stretch the field kind of thing that everybody loved from him in 2024. And so I don't think that their thinking on Brian Thomas has shifted dramatically from the middle of the season. Perhaps it has, obviously, from, OTAs last year. But in terms of what they feel about Brian Thomas right now, I think that it's the same as they felt, as the season was ending, and what Liam Cohen and James Gladstone said at their end of season press conference.
So, what do you think the odds are that we come out of 2026 and Brian Thomas Jr. looks more like the player we thought we were getting going into 2025? That certainly doesn't feel like many people expect that to be the outcome at this point for Brian, given what we saw there in year 2. But how much of a chance do you think there is that he still turns into that kind of guy?
I think there's plenty of chance, and I think that the guy still has all the talent in the world. We've seen him make these acrobatic catches. I know his hands are questionable in terms of what we were able to see last year, but if you go back and look at the catches that he was able to haul in, a lot of those were acrobatic grabs. He had the one-hander late in the season. Everything kind of blends together now, but yeah, I think that he's shown and proven enough to where he's going to be able to get there. And, he had a down year, only 700 something yards, whatever it was, a couple touchdowns. It wasn't what you would expect, but I do think that he can get back to the expectations of, hey, this is a 1,000-yard wide receiver, and one of their top guys.
Jacoby's locked up for a few years.
Yeah.
Right. Parker, you would assume they'd like to extend at some point.
Yep.
Brian Thomas is under team control for the next 3 years if they choose to employ the 5th-year option. Those are your top targets. So where do you put wide receiver in terms of being any kind of a need for this football team?
It's not super high. I'm curious on if they're going to bring back Tim Patrick. I would bring him back. I think that he showed enough in terms of being a locker room guy, a good guy for Trevor, a reliable target potentially in the red zone. I obviously a pretty good blocker. So I do think that that's the question. What's that wide receiver 5 kind of look like on game day, or even wide receiver 4, depending on how they want to use Travis Hunter. And so, yeah, I think that that's not a high position. Like, you don't necessarily need to spend your 3rd round pick on them or sit there.
I do see a lot of mocks with them taking a receiver in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I mean, I get it. Sometimes the value is there and you got to take value, and you can't just say, I have to have a corner here and make one materialize. But I don't know. I just feel like if Brian Thomas is going to be part of this organization where it appears, I don't see the great need. Yeah, they got to add a guy who's maybe at best their 4th guy, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't think that it's it's not a major need. And like you said, perhaps somebody falls and then they want to take them and you kind of shuffle the deck around a little bit more. And maybe at that point, I mean, I just don't necessarily think that they're going to be in a situation where they're thinking about moving Brian Thomas unless it's something exorbitant.
All right, when we come back for our final segment on the program, we'll get a few last thoughts with Demetrius Harvey of the Florida Times-Union and let him weigh on anything we may have missed in terms of the important storylines for the Jacksonville Jaguars in the short and longer term. As we continue along, we'll wrap up Jaguars Today straight ahead on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here. I've been telling you for the last couple of weeks about a great golf tournament coming to the First Coast. Well, it has arrived. You've got the chance to see LPGA Tour stars of tomorrow. They're competing at Atlantic Beach Country Club from today through Saturday. It's the Epsom Tour's Atlantic Beach Classic presented by Access Golf, and it's the first stop on the pathway to the top 15 ladies getting their LPGA Tour cards at the end of the year. So you can get out there, enjoy some beautiful weather, some high-quality competitive golf, and support the ladies of tomorrow. The IQ Fiber Linkside Lounge is the best value going. You get an all-inclusive ticket that includes food, beer, wine, and spirits for only $100. Visit AtlanticBeachClassic.com. Enter promo code IQ to get that special rate. Friday afternoon will feature a fantastic Fairways to Fashion show presented by Bosco Builders featuring Epsom Tour players and Atlantic Beach boutique stores. Limited tickets still available. Get yours by visiting AtlanticBeachClassic.com to purchase.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
If your lawn took a beating this winter, listen up. Prosser here for Julington Creek Pest Control. They've just started the first of 3 rounds of premium granular fertilizer. No cheap liquid fertilizer here. Custom blended for Northeast Florida lawns. Their certified technicians apply slow-release nutrients. Rebuild your lawn thick, strong, and green over time. Plus, they protect your home from pests and termites. Call Julington Creek Pest Control today. Our family serving yours since 1984.
Jaguars Today Thursday, brought to you by Cannons of Jacksonville.
Be the first to discover the best new home community in beautiful Green Cove Springs. Highland Trail, where the rhythm of life slows down. Enjoy green spaces, luxury pools, pickleball courts, winding trails, and more at livehighlandtrail.com. Choose from 3 premium builders, just starting in the 300s.
Oh, at Highland Trail.
Hi, I'm Carly Granick.
And I'm Caroline Edwards, a student at Norfolk School of Special Education.
At NFSSC, we foster each student's unique abilities to reveal their highest potential. Just 5 days left until the players.
Brett Michaels, live and amplified tour. With special guest Tesla. This Sunday night, St. Augustine Amphitheater. Voted one of the most electrifying and engaging shows on tour. Tickets on sale now at AXS.com. Brett Michaels and Tesla. The party starts now.
At Hollis Pools, building a pool is personal. We sit down with you, listen to your vision, and bring your backyard dreams to life right here in Northeast Florida. Working with us doesn't feel like working with a contractor. It feels like working with family. Every Hollis Pools project supports Project Savior Outdoors, helping bring hope to our veterans. Visit HollisPools.com. Hollis Pools, your vision, your pool, your escape. License number CPC 1461233.
Winter is in full swing, and Aleve is here to keep you moving. When the cold weather sets in, everyday aches and pains can linger, but Aleve's got your back. With up to 12 hours of body pain relief per dose, Aleve keeps you going with long-lasting body pain relief to get you through whatever the season brings. Chilly days or cozy nights, Aleve gives you that long-lasting body pain relief you can count on this winter. Try Aleve. Use as directed for minor aches and pains.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. to know about the Jags. Jaguars today on 1010XL.
All right, there has been a trade, at least agreed to, in the National Football League. Doesn't involve your Jacksonville Jaguars, but the Chicago Bears not getting Max Crosby. They're sending away DJ Moore. I always thought he was, Tony, all the Bears fans told me he was part of the Crosby compensation package coming to Chicago. Everybody wants everybody and has a way to do it that works for their team. Who knows? Maybe they'll get Max Crosby, but DJ Moore going to the Buffalo Bills for what is being described as a mid-round pick value. We don't know what that is yet. So there you go. Buffalo getting the guy who will, right now, looks like he'd be the top receiver on their depth chart.
Easily. And I think that, obviously they really needed one. And DJ Moore has been a guy who's been great in this league before, for whatever reason, it hasn't worked out.
Shaky quarterbacking.
Yes. Yeah.
And still has been able to produce some pretty good numbers over the years. And you would expect that would be the case with Josh Allen. And why don't the Jags do a move like that? Well, you got to have the cap space to take on a guy like that. I'm sure there's a world like, by the way, I wouldn't mind. Like, if we could get DJ Moore for a fourth and get a first for Brian Thomas, I'd be right there in the front of the line to do something like that. But that's not the reality of the situation. Anyway, so just wanted to pass that along, that deal is being agreed to. None of these moves, by the way, will be official until the league year opens next Wednesday. So Demetrius Harvey, as it stands now, I'm not saying I expect you to shock us with these positions, but as it stands today, what do you see as the three biggest positional needs for the Jaguars?
Yeah, obviously quarterback now. I think linebacker, obviously, with Devin Lloyd potentially departing, I do think that linebacker becomes one of their top needs, if not their top need right now, because of how important that position is in Anthony Campanelli's offense. And then you have cornerback, obviously, is a blank spot right now at opposite of Travis Hunter, if that's who you're expecting to start. And so you're going to have to end up getting somebody back there, either Monteric Brown or a free agent or a draft pick, whatever the case may be. And then defensive tackle, I still do think, and I think everybody else thinks that, yes, Eric Armstead had a solid year, and then unfortunately he got hurt, kind of similar to Trayvon, where his production sort of slipped a little bit. But he did show enough, I think, last year to warrant being back. But you do have to look for the future.
All right. By the way, the people reacting to the trade news is interesting. One person just, I don't know if they must have sent this. They sent it 8 minutes ago. So it's probably before they realized this deal had gone down. Said, I'd sign Alec Pierce and trade Brian Thomas for a second-round pick to a buyer or maybe to the Bills for a first. Well, the Bills just picked up DJ Moore for what we're speculating is going to be no more than a third, maybe less than a third rounder. So you could write them off. And then somebody followed up, but I thought the Bills were trading for BTJ and LOL. In other words, that's because, and he was being facetious or he or she, because that's how people are at this time of the year. We want that. It makes sense for us. We don't care if it makes sense for you. So give us your good players and be happy with what we give you in return.
That's exactly right, and that's how it should be. You have to be, But it's interesting to see all the movement and the talk about Brian Thomas specifically in terms of the trade. In my opinion, it hasn't made sense. You have a guy that you've seen is capable of being a standout wide receiver. I mean, from the first game he played in, where against the Dolphins, where he goes in the back of the end zone, Trevor makes this amazing throw opposite to sort of landing in there perfectly, and you're like, wow, this is the guy. And so to me, it would be a shame for them to move on from somebody who can produce just because he might have had a down year.
Yeah, go look up again that Trevor Lawrence reel the Jags put out.
Well, everyone is hungry for Brian Thomas Jr.'s skill set, right? Like the whole league wants Brian Thomas Jr.'s skill set. Was it a disappointing year too? Yes, for Brian Thomas Jr. And we all had an idea in our heads after watching him his rookie year saying, all right, this is good. Like, could he push Jimmy? That's the way we were talking about him last year at this time. Well, maybe that's not how this whole thing is going to work out. That doesn't make him a bad player or a player with no value, right? And he certainly doesn't make him a player that it's like, can we figure out how to move on from this? Like, I was disappointed with year two, so I'm done with it. And fans get caught up in these kind of things a lot. And I think fans in other cities look at it and say, well, it sounds like some of the fans are a little frustrated with them. Does that mean they'd be willing to move off for a third-round pick? It's like, no. Because what you're hearing from the fan base is not the conversations that are going to be happening inside the building about Brian Thomas Jr., they're going to be much more along the lines of, how are we going to replace that?
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's the way that they would look at it. We're going to get what to replace that exactly? That's hard to do. And you mentioned, defensive tackle, and this is year 1 million in a row where we've talked about it being a top need for the Jaguars, but it's because it's a top need for everyone. Like, that position, I think, more than any other position in the NFL right now, a true 3 technique that gives you value as a pass rusher. Everybody is so hungry for those guys. They're just not out there. They're not in free agency. They're not in the draft. Like, it's a need everyone has, but has no store to find to try to fill that need.
No, yeah, Aaron Donald is not walking through that door.
No.
All right. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Good.
If you had any more Aaron Donald musings there. It's messing. What's coming up for you at the Florida Times-Union with your Jaguar coverage?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's going to be, basic stuff in terms of free agency is coming up, obviously. Look for the live blog and all that kind of stuff on Monday and sort of going through what to expect. Are they going to be active? I just put out something where, basically said it doesn't feel like that's the case in terms of how they were last season. I don't think that they're going to be doing it this year. And I put out a couple guys, and then obviously we're going to jump right into the draft. Like, I like to jump into it right after free agency. That's when you actually know what they truly need and where their priorities may lay. And then we can get on with the draft. It'll be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, look, we always want to, I like free agency. I like the Jags signing players because it gives us good content, gives us things to talk about. It's exciting. But you also want to get to the point where you don't have to fill so many holes. You want to get to the point where you're like, kind of like the Rams, where you're like, if we could, whether it comes through a trade or whatever, let's get that final piece to push us over the top. I don't think they're quite there yet. But there no reason to expect them to be anything other than competing for a division title in 2026.
Absolutely. I mean, they looked amazing last year. I think that no one can say otherwise. I think that they showed the NFL, they showed themselves that they can compete. They beat playoff teams. They did everything that everybody has ever wanted them to do last year besides win playoff games.
Yeah. I think in 2023, they didn't go hard in free agency, right? After the success they had in 22, but they were it felt like they were protecting their compensatory picks that year at the behest of Balky and thought that the team was ready, right? Like, that's the way they talked about it. I don't think this year feels that way to me. This year feels like a team that is very clear about what they may recognize as needs, but go, how do we attack it? Like, they're limited in the ways that they are limited and are willing to admit it and deal with it. Whatever that's going to look like is likely a team that's not all that active when free agency opens up.
Yeah, it's not going to be a situation. And this is a team that hasn't had a compensatory pick in who knows how long. So, I mean, you got to think about that too. They are having a couple guys that are going to be paid pretty big, and so they probably are looking forward to those next year.
All right. With that said, let's say hello to XL Primetime.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Matt Hayes is here with XL Primetime. Hello. How are you? What's going on?
Good, man. Just got back from a trip from Virginia Tech.
Oh,
ready to go.
All right. Any prospects for the Jags we need to know about, or was it not that kind of trip?
A couple guys that follow James Franklin from Penn State that the Jags might be interested in.
Gotcha.
Sure, yeah.
All right. So what's coming up on the show today?
We're going to talk a lot about Lou Holtz. Passed away. Obviously, the coaching legend passed away yesterday. We'll get into that. We'll talk Jags free agency as well. Just a lot of football.
It's coming.
Yep.
It's coming. Free agency will be right on top of us by this time next week. We'll know at least the major players for the Jags, you would think, by after a few days of negotiating and chance to sign a guy or two.
Yeah.
Probably not going to break the bank, but
no,
they don't have a bank to break.
No, they don't. We might even talk a little Gator basketball.
How about that?
Team that's getting ready to win another national title.
All right.
We'll see.
Matt Hayes just threw it out there.
Right.
Matt, have a good show.
Thanks, boys.
XL Primetime coming up. Demetrius, all the best to you and your family. Welcoming in the newest edition soon.
I appreciate it.
Congrats again on that. And thanks for the time today. Always good to see you. And let's do it again. Hopefully, but before you become a father officially, because once you do, buddy, your time is going to be.
Listen,
it's going to be a little bit tighter than it is these days.
I'm already anticipating that. I appreciate it.
All right, brother. Good to see you. For Demetrius Harvey, Tony Smith, and RJ Saunders, I'm off tomorrow. I'll be enjoying the wine tasting gala with my bride tonight. So if you're there, stop by, say hello. Tom McManus will be in with Tony on Friday. I will talk to you Monday with the rest of the crew here on Jaguars Today on 1010XL and